Hey, Rianne, welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you, Rachel, for having me. And I'm excited too.
Awesome. Let's just dive in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, okay. My name is Rianne. I am originally from the Netherlands. I'm Dutch. However, I have not lived there for the last 2 years. I am what they call a digital nomad in the sense that I live in Asia predominantly. I've been in Bali for about a year and a half, and currently I'm in Chiang Mai, Thailand, escaping Bali rainy season. And yeah, I created a life basically where I'm completely location independent, so I can work from anywhere in the world. And I take that opportunity to see the most beautiful places in the world. Yeah.
How fun is that? So, you haven't always been a digital nomad or had your own business. You were in corporate America up until 2 years ago, yeah?
Well, not corporate America, corporate Netherlands.
Corporate Netherlands. That's like total habit. Corporate Netherlands. Well, tell us
Yeah.
about why you left because you had just like a comfy life there.
Well, yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for about a decade.
Hmm.
So I've been working for about 20 years. The first 10 years in a corporate job in the Netherlands, and then I moved to start my own business about 10 years ago. And I have a management consulting firm with about 13 other people. And but 2 years ago, I turned 40, and that was sort of like this. I want to change. I need something different, and I decided to take a sabbatical leave to figure out basically what I wanted to be when I grow up. And so I left for Australia initially, and then I came to Bali. And in Bali, I discovered two things. Thing number one was this digital nomad lifestyle. I never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. And then the second thing was social entrepreneurship. And those combined were my aha breakthrough moments because I discovered, first of all, that you can break away from the system, the 9 to 5 system, so to speak, by creating an online business that you can do from anywhere in the world. And the second thing, social entrepreneurship, I've been working in the just for profit sector, as I call it, or the commercial sector. And I always questioned what the bigger purpose of making money was. Why do we make so much money beyond what we need? And with social entrepreneurship, I discovered what the purpose of making money was, because it was to uplift our world, basically humanity and our planet. And those two come. I cut my sabbatical short 3 months in. It was supposed to go for a full year, but I cut it short, and I made a decision that I was going to figure out a way how to serve startup social entrepreneurs in their journey to success, as opposed to serving corporate clients. And I just did that, and I created an online business. This decision was made a year and a half ago, and I'm doing it. So
Congratulations. Yeah,
yeah,
that's so exciting. So I
yeah.
actually have my master's in social work, and I was planning on working in the nonprofit sector until I
Mhm.
couldn't find a job in where we were living. We moved to like a super rural place. They wouldn't hire me unless I had paid work experience. I had a ton of internship experience, but still couldn't find a job. And when I started my own company, I was like, well, why can't I include that social impact aspect of it and just make it a part of my business? So can you explain social entrepreneurship a little bit to somebody who's not really
Yeah.
familiar with it?
Yeah. Well, the industry is still sort of debating what a clear definition is. We don't have a clear single definition, but that's okay. My definition is of a social enterprise, or social impact business, as I call them, is a for-profit business where they weave together a social mission with a business mission, where a social mission and a business mission run in tandem. That's
Okay.
how I used to call it. The poster child, in my opinion, is Tom's Shoes, that amazing company, literally, oh my gosh, Blake Makowski, hero.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But basically, they invented the one-for-one model. That's one. And for him, they're tied together, right? His social mission and his business mission it's tied together inside his branding, his messaging. You cannot just swap out the cause.
Mhm.
There's a lot of for-profit companies, obviously, that give tons of money away to causes, but for them, it's sort of like a separate thing. They can swap out causes every single year.
For someone
And
who's not familiar with Tom Shoes, can you just
um,
explain? Yeah, because somebody might have no idea who they are, I've read
yeah,
his book, so I know I'm very familiar with what he does. Can you explain that model a little bit?
yeah. Tom's Shoes is a American company that basically for every pair of shoes that they sell, a kid in need gets a pair to go to school.
Mhm.
It was founded in Argentina, where he saw that kids were struggling to go to school because literally they had no shoes. It's that simple. And he also saw this amazing Argentinian type specific shoe. And he thought, hey, that's cool. I can bring that design to the United States. And he literally just put his money on the table and had one bag of shoes produced, took it on his backpack back to the United States and sold them out in his living room with this model, a 1-for-1. One pair sold, one pair give away. And right now, I think yesterday he was on Jim Fallon, and he said they now gave 86 million pairs of shoes to kids. 86 million.
Way.
Yeah,
my mind is blown.
Unbelievable. Yeah, they now also do like eyewear, where they give eyesight to people. They do water. They do tons of stuff. But yeah, it started with this one bag of shoes 12 years ago.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Do you know of any other companies that are doing this and incorporating this into their model?
Yeah, they're like the big names out there currently. Warby Parker, they sell glasses.
Okay.
And for every pair sold, somebody gets eyesight or whatever they need to get their eyesight back. Listen headphones, huge company. They produce acoustic headphones, and for every pair sold, they a person who has lost her hearing gets hearing aids, who cannot hear very well. And these are examples of literally a 1-for-1 type model. But you also, for example, have a company called the Giving Keys in Los Angeles, and they don't give away, but it's a jewelry company. They make necklaces with keys, and in on the key you can have a word imprinted, and they employ people who transition back from homelessness. So because there's like basically when I started in this sphere, I started to study social entrepreneurship, and there are 4 overarching models that people use to weave in social impact in their business. Obviously the sharing, you give something away, and you give part of your profits away to a nonprofit partner, or you give a product away like Tom's is doing. What I call the staffing model, that's the second one, where you employ people from what I call community of service. So the people you want to help the most, you employ them. The third model is sourcing model, where you buy from the community of service. My friends, Jake and Corey Orak from Ethnotech Bags, great travel bag company, like beautiful. But they source very handmade woven patterns from tiny tribal communities in 5 different countries all over the world. And they source their fabrics, and it's otherwise a dyeing tradition. And they source those fabrics, and they make the most beautiful travel bags from them. And then the fourth model is where you literally help the community you want to uplift the most by literally selling to them. Like Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize winner, he's the founder of it. He had the Microlending Institute, and he started with giving these microloans to these women in Bangladesh, $5 to $10 to start a business, because he wanted to uplift the whole of Bangladesh, basically. So yeah, there's so many beautiful examples, and yeah, it's so inspiring to me.
Me too. Oh my gosh, I've read like all of the books about it, and I'm like, how can I incorporate this into my business, and how could we give more and make a bigger impact? So like this really gets me excited. So can you give us just a few more examples or different ways that someone who is brand new to business, maybe they could incorporate social impact through their business?
Well, basically, the starting point. That's what we because like in my company right now, we guide startup social impact entrepreneurs. So literally, it can either be somebody who already has a business, who is already and who never considered weaving in social impact, but he or she wants to, or people who come in with a social impact idea and then they want to figure out how to turn it into a business. But where it all starts, this whole journey, where it starts, is that you get crystal clear on why you do this, like. And usually that starts with that something pisses you off. Something, right? Sorry for the words. Okay. So you're like angry about something. You see some sort of like social or environmental injustice in the world, and you are angry, and you want to turn that anger into a positive and say, okay, let's figure out how to help, how to uplift, instead of just accept that it's the way it is. And getting crystal clear on what it is you want to accomplish. So who you want to see uplifted. We call that a community of service next to a community of customers. We, like social entrepreneurs, have both. Figure out, okay, who it is do you want to help? And then the second step is, okay, what are the different ways? If, for example, we have a member, Tessa. Tessa is my absolute favorite member, because she was starting a normal business, like a traditional normal business, It's a membership site for people who want to find their happiness back after a significant emotional event. She lost her husband 5 years ago, and she was just in a rut. She was devastated about it. But at one point, like a year in or something, she made a decision. Okay, I don't think my husband would have wanted to see me unhappy, so I have to figure out a way how to just get back on track. So she started on this journey and then found all these tips and tricks, and she found her way. And now she wants to pass that on to other people who have a similar experience. But another thing, what she discovered in this journey, while she was going through, Mike, that was her husband, going through his belongings, she found his journal. And in his journal, he wrote, it was a secret journal, like a diary. She didn't know about it. And in that journal was a story about how in the 70s, when he was fighting for the South African army, he had to destroy water wells by order. So the South African army ordered them to destroy water wells. And he had felt shame ever since. And it was his deepest desire to go back and rebuild those water wells, to give back clean water to African families in small villages. But he never lived long enough to do it. So obviously when Tessa discovered this, literally by reading this in his journal, first of all, I cannot even imagine how overwhelming that must have been. But second, she said, okay, I'm committed to making this, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do this for him. But she always thought this as sort of like a separate thing, she never figured she could weave this into her business. And then our path crossed in Bali. She was on holiday in Bali and our path crossed. And she told me this story and I said, why don't you do it together? Like the membership site for people, giving them tips and tricks back to getting back to happiness, saying yes to happiness. And at the same time, giving back to these or rebuilding the water wells. And she was like, but how in the world would I do that? And I said, well, first of all, your overarching why, let's figure that there's just two stories, but in essence there's a correlation. Because happiness to you is finding back your joie de vivre, your living friends, your zest for life, so to speak. But for African families, it's as simple as water. So there's a correlation. And then in your model, that's where we weave it in your business model, we can easily find a way to say, okay, for every month of membership, you're going to donate a specific amount, and that specific amount equals that one person or two persons or a whole family get access to water. And she's now working with a nonprofit partner who literally builds the water wells. And, so she did that. She's weaving that into her story. And at first she thought, okay, I have to do this separate. But when she started to weave it into her branding and messaging and started to share this and this personal story, her tribe loves it. Obviously, her audience loves it because we all want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. We crave authenticity in these days. We crave realness and real stories. And if we can contribute to a better world with our dollars, that people are open to it more and more. So I strongly believe that every single business owner who has a regular business and who is also deeply cares about something, there are ways to weave it in. They're just,
Amazing. So you don't have to be a nonprofit in order to do this. You could find a nonprofit and partner with them.
Yeah, we always say don't start your own nonprofit. Please don't, because then you have to manage two organizations. And managing a business is hard enough as it is.
Totally.
Building a tribe and customers and doing that. No, find partners to do this with. If you use that sharing model, that way you share your part of your profits. If you want to staff people that you want to uplift. I also know a food company in London, and they hire people with autism, so then it's completely into your business model. Or if you want to source products from whoever you want to see uplifted. But if you want to share, like if you share part of your profits with, find a partner. There are people out there who figured out already how to do it. So just partner up. But then future down the line, Tessa will definitely bring her customers on one of these trips. Just like Tom's Shoes, Blake Makowski also does. Some of the Tom's customers are able to go on these shoe drop.
I love that.
That's when you weave it all together, when you make your customers part of this story. And that's the most, that's it.
So would that be like a giveaway trip or just like something that however you want to
however you want to do it. Yeah.
Amazing. Can you give just some more examples of different models out there? Because I just like, I love hearing it. And I want people that are listening just to like get it in their heads of like thinking outside the box and different ways they could implement this into their companies.
Yeah, let me think. Like ethical marketplaces is another example that a lot of people do. You know, like when they start a marketplace and they buy only from that's integrated. But another way. Let me think.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, it put me on the spot. That's okay because I have a lot of one-for-one examples.
What are some other examples of one for one?
Well, like one of our members as well inside the base. That's like my membership site is Impact Business Base. She has a flip flop company in Australia. It's called Bolocco, and she makes flip flops that leave positive images in the sand. So literally, when you walk, it says love or.
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, it's really cool. But then also she has a one-for-one model. So for every pair sold, a kid in India gets a pair of shoes. Those are just amazing. I just feel that all of these entrepreneurs are so freaking courageous, so incredible courageous to start something that's bigger than just yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's actually Blake Mikowski's book, the founder of Tom's, it's called Start Something That Matters. I've listened to it twice, and every time I'm like, oh, so good. So good. Yeah. There's so much that we could do in the world when we just take that initiative. We get a little creative and we find a cause that we're really passionate about, and we just incorporate it into what we're doing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I love it. So talk to us about your membership site that you have.
Yeah, so I launched, like I said, when I made the transition to an online business, like a year and a half ago, I made 3 decisions. Decision number 1 was I'm going to figure out a way how to serve startup social entrepreneurs because, like you said, a lot of people who come into this space do come from a non-for-profit background or do come from a charity type background. So the knowledge about how to build a company, like sort of like the commercial side, it's needed. There's a big need for commercial knowledge inside this community. That was my background. I've been in the commercial sector for 20 years, so I understand how to make money, so to speak. And I'm unapologetic about it. That's also in this scene. It's like making money sometimes feels a little bit. But anyway, so I made 3 decisions a year and a half ago. One was I'm going to figure out a way how to serve startup social entrepreneurs on their journey to success. Because I redefined my mission at that time is I want to see a world where all businesses are a force for good. All. And I figured, okay, maybe I cannot directly myself change Coca-Cola into becoming a social impact business. You know, I hope I give that job to Richard Branson. He's doing that hopefully, but maybe I can help startup social impact entrepreneurs do good. So that's who I decided to work with. And then the second decision was I'm going to start a company that is location independent, so an online business, so I can work from anywhere in the world. And the third one was I used to sell my time. Like I had an hour-based company, management consulting firm. I wanted to figure out a way how to have a recurring revenue model. So those 3 decisions I made, and I had no freaking clue. I had no experience in the online world, no, nothing. And I don't know about you, but like being an entrepreneur in the offline world, that was fairly easy to me. But then making the shift to online, oh my gosh, that's like totally different.
It's a whole new world for someone who's, you have to really learn a whole bunch of different skill sets.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came in blank. I used Facebook as a private user. That was about it. Facebook ads, never heard of them.
So how do you find clients for your membership?
Facebook ads.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's different means, but I started learning. I felt like I was back in kindergarten. Yeah. And I started on that journey. But I had this vision of this membership community where every month we would have a tribe, a community of like-minded startup social entrepreneurs. I would feed them with like tips and tricks, but mostly it's the community aspect that that's thriving. And then on my journey, I found my current business partner who is in the United States because I joined his course. He had a startup course for how to start your social enterprise. And I joined it and I figured, hey, you and I have the same mission. So like a little over a year ago. No, like in December last year, I was bold and courageous, and I sent this Josh. His name is Josh. I sent him an email saying, "Okay, I have this vision for this membership site. This is what I want." I wrote it, like the whole thing. I wrote it on paper. This is what I want. I have no idea how, because I don't have any online skills, or online marketing knowledge yet. I have no idea how, in terms of like, you're an American, I'm a European legally, but I think everything is figure outable, as Marie Forleo says.
Love that. Yeah.
So, yeah. So we'll figure it out. Do you want to do this with me? And he said yes. And then 6 months later, we launched.
Incredible.
So we launched Impact Business Base in June this year.
Okay.
And we now guide 40 startup social entrepreneurs on their journey to success. And it's been, oh my gosh, every single day is a gift. Every single day. I just literally, before doing this, I taped a video expressing my gratitude for each and every single person, and shared that in our private community, because they just light me up so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm so grateful that I started on this journey. Yeah.
Isn't it the best feeling when you see your students just like start to blossom and have success, and they take off, and it, like, to me as a coach, like, there's no better feeling. Like, it's incredible. Yeah. So how do you like the membership model? What challenges have you faced in that model, or successes that you've experienced?
The successes are basically just, seeing it happen. We have members from 4 different continents, and actually seeing it come to life, and that no matter where you come from, the challenges we face are similar. We all go through these same ups and downs, but still we can come together and share our stories as a community. That's been the most amazing part on my end. But the challenges, what a big challenge. In any membership site, I think as a membership site owner, you always have members who show up for everything, who consume to the max, who are action takers, but also share that they're taking action. Yep. And there are people who are just sort of like not as expressive, or they don't, they consume content, but they don't show it. They don't show themselves in the Facebook group. And as a membership site owner, in the beginning, that made me nervous. Yeah. That made me nervous. Like, oh my God, do they value it? Do they think this is good? And because you want to keep your flock together, so to speak, right? I'm like a mother goose.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Are you familiar with the Pareto principle?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's going to be 20% of your students are going to interact probably 80% of the time, right?
Yeah. It's
exactly that. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you could really do about it, unfortunately. Don't you wish like 100% of people would just step up and participate and go all in? Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Okay.
It would. Yeah.
I would love that. So I actually saw a quote. I was stalking your Facebook page just a little bit, and I saw a quote that you wrote was, "Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness." So why don't you share a little bit about how your travels have shaped your point of view, your business, and everything that you're doing now?
Well, travel, first of all, I strongly believe that by traveling, you open yourself up to different perspectives.
Oh, yes.
I feel nowadays, especially in the Western world, in pretty much every single country, whether it's in the North American continent or the Western European continent, Eastern European either, we have a culture of protectionism, closing borders, because there's a lot of people are afraid of people who look different. And I think that's we're gearing into the wrong direction, so to speak. Just because somebody looks different doesn't mean that they don't have feelings, and they don't, they're human beings basically. But opening up, traveling opens you up to a whole new perspective, and you realize that what you think is the truth, there's just no such thing. There's no the truth. There's just perspective.
Yeah.
And what I find completely normal as a tradition, other people find crazy. And it goes as simple. Like, I have an good American friend who have been hanging out with in Bali, and also here. And he's American. He loves peanut butter and jelly, and to me that's the most gross combination ever.
That is so American. So I lived in Kenya and in Senegal, and now we live in France, but like every time I moved somewhere, I always had at least 4 jars of peanut butter in my suitcase to bring with me. And I met my husband while living in Senegal. He thought that was like the weirdest thing. It's like, why are you bringing peanut butter with you? I'm like, because it's so good. Come on. But I think you're so right. I mean, one of the things that I loved about living in Africa is how welcoming everyone is. And so they call Senegal La Teranga, which is called the land of hospitality. And so it'd be people that I literally like just met that day. They would literally be singing a song to welcome me into their home. They would be feeding me food when they barely had enough money to like put shoes on their kids' feet. They'd be asking me, hey, can you spend the night? And just like taking care of me and looking out for me. And it's unlike anything I've ever experienced, anywhere else. And you never really understand it until you go out and explore and travel. And
just connect with other people. And the second thing I would say is traveling has opened me up way more to our global environmental problems and waste problems, because like in organized countries, such as again, in North America, Western Europe, when you throw something away, you think it's gone. Like when you throw something in the waste bin, you think it's gone, but it's not.
Yeah.
And here, because like in the countries where I live in now, the waste management is not as organized and professional. So you see it everywhere. So you become so much more aware of the amount of single-use plastic that we use in a day. I used to go to a Starbucks. That was like normal for me. I don't anymore. Well, I do, but I bring my own cup. Straws. I live in a country now where basically you get every day you get a straw. And I know people in my country still, when I go back home to the Netherlands, they say it's just one straw. Yeah, but 7.5 billion people say that. So it's so you become much more aware. I become much more aware of how big our plastic pollution problem is. Really.
Totally. So when I was living in Kenya, I traveled to Rwanda. Beautiful country, like just gorgeous. And when I was entering the country, they actually made all of us get off the bus. That's a whole other story. I took a bus to get there. It was 24 hours on these like bumpy African roads. Like, I don't think I could do that again. That's what happens when you're 21 and adventurous. But they made all of us get off, take all of our suitcases off the bus. And they wanted to make sure none of us had plastic bags in our suitcases because they aren't allowed in the country of Rwanda because they wanted to protect how beautiful the country is. And I remember I had one plastic bag that had my shoes in it. And they're like, nope, you got to get rid of it before you get in the country. And I'm like, really? But it's like, so I know it's so different though.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So we need, I know the EU just passed a ban on single-use plastic in 2020. So that's good. We're going into the right direction, but still. Yeah. So it's, traveling to me, opening up new perspectives, seeing that the world is not big, one scary place, but just a beautiful place with 7.5 billion beautiful people.
Yeah.
And so I love it.
Amazing. What's the best book you've read?
The Big Leap.
Ooh, that is a good one. The Big Leap.
From Gay Hendricks.
Yeah. I read that a few months ago.
It's I go back and forth. I read books and I make lots of notes. I go back and forth, but just realizing that the only person holding us back is me. Yes. The only person holding me back is me.
Yep.
And and that it's so easy to blame external circumstances or people, but it's just not fair. It's just me.
No, exactly. It's you and your mindset that will either help you soar or hold you back.
Yeah. And just the realization that we all, what he calls this, have this upper limit problem, that things we can go on a good streak, like a streak of things happening good things happening to us.
Yeah.
But then always we will self-sabotage something. And the reason why we self-sabotage, and he gives these 4 overarching reasons. And it's just been a very interesting read, and it's given me a lot of insight.
I think that's a really important book for every entrepreneur to read, just so you're aware that having an upper limit it's like an actual thing. So you kind of feel when it's coming. So like, okay, this is what I need to work through. Like in order for me to reach that next level of success, I got to like break through this mental barrier that's going to hold me back.
Yeah, totally.
Super important. What's next for you?
Right now, I want to grow, 2 things. I want to grow our community, obviously. Mm-hmm. I want to impact way more startup social entrepreneurs. I want to or help more startup social entrepreneurs make a bigger impact. That's one, not just our existing members, help them reach the next level, but also invite more people into our communities, obviously. That's one. And the second thing I'm working on, it's still sort of like, I haven't shared it with anybody, so it's still a side project, is a few months ago, I started to connect with my peers. And my peers are other amazing people who mentor or guide or coach social entrepreneurs, so to speak. And I just started 2 different masterminds, one for the American European side and one for the Asian Australian side, because and it's a mastermind that is where we work together, where we help each other, because we all have the same audience. We all have different programs or different offerings, but we have the same audience, and it's still so grassroots. It's still so new. So I feel like if we work together, we can make a bigger impact together. So that's one, just helping each other out. But secondly, my big ambition project is to write a book together. Because part of our work is also educating the main public, educating about what it is. Because every single day I have to explain what a social enterprise is. So, and I'm
there's a real big gap there, because I think I own every book about it just because I wanted to like soak it all in, and I'm like, there's nothing left. I own them all.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's so grassroots and so new. And also because social enterprise, it's still, the term is not defined. So a lot of the books are also still about nonprofits figuring out revenue generating activities. And that's great. It's also social enterprise, but it's different from what we stand for, which is a normal for-profit business where you weave in social impact. So there's multiple types of social enterprises, so to speak. And but we still need to educate the world. So that's what I want to do with my peers, because I think we just have that job to do.
Yeah. So exciting. Where can we
connect? And plus, sorry, last thing, but that's my big vision thing. Is ideally, eventually, I want to impact curriculum of business schools. I have a bachelor degree in marketing and an executive MBA. And so I've done a lot of studying back in the day. No single lesson ever went about social impact, ever. Never. It was all about making money.
Yeah.
So, and I know right now, like the high-end business schools, they do have a social entrepreneurship, how do you call it? Like a minor, but it's separate. And I think it should be integrated. It's just normal business with where money, like profit, is a means to an end as opposed to just the end.
And my education was focused nonprofit. Like that's all there was pretty much. Yeah. So that's we'll get there. You're gonna do it. I'm so excited to see it happen.
Yeah, me too.
So where can we connect with you?
Well, people can find us obviously on the website in www.businessbase.com, or people can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn. And I reckon you're gonna have my name somewhere in the show notes, because my name is very hard for people to write.
Yes, we'll put everything in the show notes. All the businesses that we gave examples of, we'll put that in the show notes. You said your website's impactbusinessbase.com.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we'll put that there. Thank you so much, Rianne, for just sharing everything with us. This was super helpful, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel. This is amazing. Thank you.